Always appreciate speaking with Congresswoman Val Hoyle, a new member of the Delivering Outstanding Government Efficiency Caucus, easy for me to say. First off, Congresswoman, some people could be unfamiliar with what a caucus even is. Can you kind of give people an idea of the role of congressional caucuses and what is the DOGE caucus?
So a congressional caucus is when you have members of Congress, sometimes they're partisan, just Republicans or Democrats, sometimes they're bipartisan, and they're Congress members that are interested in some of the same things to get together informally to discuss solutions or their interests. And the DOGE caucus is specifically was started by Aaron Bean, a Republican representative from Florida, to have Congresspeople get together to talk about ideas on government efficiency. Now, there are many Democrats that will not join it, and certainly there have been some advocacy groups that have said that I shouldn't join it because I give credence or credibility to Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy. Well, they're not in the DOGE caucus because they're not elected members of Congress. So what Vivek Ramaswamy and Elon Musk are doing, they are an outside influence group that is going to advise the president. Then there is the DOGE Oversight Committee led by Marjorie Taylor Greene. I am absolutely not on that, but rather I am on this caucus, and I am there because if we don't have Democratic voices there, then it looks like we're just saying no to everything, as opposed to saying, you know what, there are ways to make government more efficient. For instance, the Department of Defense has not passed an audit. They've just failed their 7th audit, and we, not me, I voted no, Congress just gave them $10 billion more. That's ridiculous. We should have oversight. So I'm there to make sure, A, that we remind people that President Trump ran on not cutting Social Security or Medicare or Medicaid, that we keep those promises. Also, that we keep our promises to give our veterans the services that they've earned. And also, to stand up for working people. We've got a couple of billionaires, Ramaswamy and Musk, who think that they should make cuts, and they've never had to decide whether to pay for food or rent or child care. And we need people, someone that's going to stand up for working people in that caucus, and I believe this is the right place to be there.
House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries called the committee not a serious effort. You mentioned Marjorie Taylor Greene chairing that committee, but you still are interested in the caucus and joining the caucus, and you've explained some of your reasoning for this. I want to read what you actually posted on X, formerly Twitter. You said, "We have two choices. Either we can scream, yell, and cry in our beer, or have eyes, ears, and a voice in the room to stand up for seniors, veterans, and working people." You said, "I got elected to fight for my constituents and have hard conversations." So some of that pointing to the point you want to have a voice in the room.
Absolutely. Now, do I think that an oversight committee led by Marjorie Taylor Greene is going to be a serious effort in a bipartisan way to address things? No. Nothing that she has done in the 2 years that I've served in Congress with her leads me to believe that she will do anything but be vindictive and work to break government. Aaron Bean, on the other hand, I serve on transportation and infrastructure with him. He is conservative. We have different ideas, but he has always operated in good faith with me. We've worked on a number of things together, and I do think this is the room to be in. Again, we can't not be in the room, and we have to offer our own solutions, you know, that align with progressive values, that stand up for working people, and that's what I'm going to be in the room to do.
Did Democratic leadership discourage you from joining the caucus?
Absolutely not. I checked in with Democratic leadership. I called through labor leaders. I talked to advocates for seniors, AARP, some of the Social Security groups. One in particular said they were going to name and shame me and that I shouldn't be there, and how dare I show up. Well, I got elected to show up. I got elected to have those hard conversations, and I'm not going to back down because one advocacy group has a purity test and thinks that, you know, yelling on the outside is more effective than being in the room. So leadership said they understood, they are supportive, and labor groups, senior groups, advocacy groups, Social Security groups, they're also grateful that somebody is there that will make the points. And again, as Democrats, we should want government efficiency. We should want to be good stewards of taxpayer dollars. And I didn't get elected just to represent Democrats. I represent, Democrats, Republicans, independents, and I'm there to do a job. And this seems like the right place to be.
You mentioned some Democrats were not interested in joining the caucus. And I've read some reports. Can you clarify, are there other Democrats in the caucus?
There is one other Democrat so far, Representative Jared Moskowitz from Florida, and he had served with Aaron Bean in the Florida legislature, so they've worked together before. And I think there may be at least one other member coming on who's also a member of the Labor Caucus, because I'm also in the Labor Caucus. And, but either way, whether there is or isn't someone else in the room, whether there are or aren't Democrats that show up, I'm going to show up, and I think that's important.
And you referenced some of this. Critics of the DOGE Advisory Board, led by Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy, concerned about those cuts, concerned about cuts to Social Security, Medicare, VA benefits, among other parts of the government. You said you want to join for more efficiency and including savings within the government, but that would not include cuts to those programs that you would support.
No, and again, President Trump said he was not going to cut those programs. So we need to remind Republicans in the room that that was the promise he made to the American people. I have more Social Security recipients in my district than 87% of the congressional districts in the country. I have more veterans in this district than any other district in this state. So, and I was a third-generation union member, also have worked in business. Somebody needs to stand up for working people, and you can't do that if you're not in the room. In terms of Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy, the ideas that they're throwing out are unconstitutional, make no sense, would disproportionately hurt working people. And so I am hopeful that we can present some other ideas, for instance, like keeping the IRS filing process that the IRS just put forward. It saves money, it's more efficient, helps people get their tax dollars back, or again, the Department of Defense. There's so much money that we can cut, but let's not do it in a place where we need to serve the people of the United States that rely on these government services.
And speaking of money in the government, you head back to Washington next week. There's a continuing resolution on the table. Do you expect it to pass, or do you think a possible government shutdown is in store?
I think it will pass. I'm hopeful it will pass. They're negotiating on it today, and within that continuing resolution, we are hopeful to have bipartisan support for many elements of the Fix-Your Forest Act that will address wildfire and increase wildland firefighter pay, and also a lands package that, again, has been strongly negotiated. Senator Ron Wyden has been at the forefront of that, and Republican Representative Bruce Westerman, who is the chair of the Natural Resources Committee I serve on. So we're really hopeful. That would be so important for Oregon. So as of a few hours ago, it was still on the table. I think it will pass, and I think we need to get done what we can now, because next year, with Republican control of the White House, the Senate, and Congress, things will be very different, and it's a very different dynamic and battle.
Well, you'll be in the room.
You bet I will be.
All right, Congresswoman Val Hoyle, thank you so much.
Thank you.